Okay, I'm back. Decided to go grab a drink, wash my face. So here's a question for you guys. As we've already established, the decision between Circa and the Ithorians is a lot more black and white than most of the choices in this game, right? I'm not even talking about light and dark side. I mean just black and white. You know, one side is clearly in the wrong and one side is much more clearly in the right. Here's an interesting question for you guys. Wouldn't it be interesting if Zerka Corporation was still evil, right? They still were dealing in, underhanded methods to accomplish their ends, and still, helping housing murderers and criminals, and still trying to destroy property of the Ithorians, all that fun stuff. And yet, we're actually going to be continuing to perform the restoration. It is for their own ends. They want to push forward the restoration because that way they will have the financial backing and political backing to do this restoration elsewhere, and it will actually scratch take it'll give them a great job market. It'll make them tons of money, right? So they will actually go and perform this restoration and do it right, but they're an evil, horrible corporation. And on the flip side, we have the Ithorians who don't actually know what they're doing and instead are just kind of meandering through it. And if we worked to uncover, it sounds like they know what they're doing, but when we actually start going in and being like, hey, what's the situation, we find out that they have been failing repeatedly. They're like, they put down, plants and animals in an area, and then the whole place deconstructs because they didn't think about, oh, well, this planet is poisonous to this species, and they were aid, and that killed the predators off. And so they're literally flinging money into a well trying to figure out something that works. So the Ithorians are well-meaning and want to do this properly, but are wasting money and are basically failing at it. Which of these two things, then, would you pick? I just feel like that makes it a much more gray situation, because in this place, neither side is really correct, right? And I just said, Zejon, I went to get a drink and wash my face and otherwise not just change the frame rate. It took me like 3 seconds to change the frame rate. That was the easy part. For the record, I'd still go with the Ithorians for two different reasons. One, the reason I already said, I don't deal with slavers. But the second and more important reason is I still feel the Ithorian method could work long-term if they just had someone better in charge, under the fictional circumstances I just gave. If they had just needed someone to figure out a better method to accomplish it, then I think that would be a much better long-term solution. Even if that's not available, though, it's still better than dealing with slavers and scum. But my whole point in this is, if you guys agree or disagree, that it would be a more gray situation than the one we actually have. You know what I mean? Gilfa.
Lava, Fandibo Gelfa, Orisidan Gelfa, Vadinogan Gelfa, Vapoelta, Fandibo Gelfa, Vapoelta, Linda Ruf, Orisidan Gelfa, Vadinogan Gelfa, Sidan Gelfa, Vadinogan Gelfa, Linda Rufda, Rufdadan Gelfa. Sidan Gelfa, Sidan Gelfa, Vadinogan Gelfa, Linda Rufda.
We would have to come up with how the Ithorians are worse, Fearsome. Because we'd have to come up with something that actually makes sense. And I think, you know, well-meaning fools makes more sense for the Ithorians than we're secretly evil. But if you have an idea, Fearsome, I'm listening. I'm curious what you mean by that.
Sidan Gelfa, Vadinogan Gelfa, Linda Rufda. Sidan Gelfa, Vadinogan Gelfa, Linda Rufda. Truth Lava, Vapoelta, Truth Lava, Fandibo Gelfa. Sidan Gelfa, Vadinogan Gelfa, Linda Rufda. Truth Lava, Vapoelta, Truth Lava, Fandibo Gelfa.
I'm rating them, Zayjom. You know me, I'm not that good of a network engineer. Despite the fact that I worked this one for a decade, it was never something I was that good at. Really, honestly, it's just never been my thing. The Zerka Corporation was on its last legs by Tor's era, which is 3 centuries after this. I think we can pretty much imagine what happens with Zerka shortly thereafter. I mean, anyone remember the quest on Tatooine with the Zerka Corporation? I mean, really?
Orisidan.
Oh my god, Fearsome's right! The Ithorians have a weather control device. Who in the right mind would have a weather control device unless they were supervillains or Ryzians? No one's gonna get that. Okay, let's go to the docks. We're all stupid in our own special ways. So, you know how I keep talking about how I'm only going to do class quests? Yay, Krenzler got it. I've changed my mind. I'm going to do all the normal quests, not counting the stuff after 50, once on each side, and then everything else will just be class quests. And the reason why is there's a lot of really good lore and really good story stuff that's in little side quests that I could talk about, but you're not really going to get it nearly as well if I don't actually show you it. To name a good example of this, and this is a really cool gray choice right off the bat in Coruscant on the Republic side, no matter who you are, you have the option to help a senator who is trying to fix things. And you find out that this senator has done some really screwed up stuff. Where am I? Am I just missing it? Yeah, I'm just missing it each time. She's done some really screwed up stuff as far as supporting the Black Sun and having people kidnapped and hurt and bribing and selling them out and all sorts of fun stuff. But she genuinely wants to reform the Republic and actually do stuff about it. And yes, Captain's Holiday is the episode I was referencing. Thank you, everyone who actually got it. Now, I like that because it shows... It's kind of like the Dragon Age Origins things all over again. It's just much more small and less well done. The idea here being that here is someone who can and indeed will make things better. She wants to reform the Republic. She wants to help things, but she's an evil twit who's doing to do whatever she wants to in order to... Or whatever she has to, excuse me, in order to accomplish it. So what do? Do you support her? Or do you turn her in? And again, I like it because neither of those answers are correct. They're just both answers. We've only had one crash so far, Tiger. So yay! Oh, this is the TSF dock. I want to go this way. So I just feel like that's a little quest like that. There's been a few that I've been remembering as we go through KOTOR 1 and KOTOR 2, are why I've decided to go ahead and do the normal quests once. Probably on the, well, I know we'll do it on the Sith Warrior. And probably, I'm thinking Consular on the Republic side. There is Permeus, but it's, I don't want to spoil too much.
Donos emeragith, wanarakora chi drumta sa inchobin sasha, dosimana rachata. Enwamakro, may rangana noruta.
Well, that's the thing, Schmidolf. I can either do it first or last, and I'm not sure which one I want to do. If we do it first, we'll be doing it as the trooper and the bounty hunter, respectively. Still haven't decided exactly how I want to do that. In my opinion, Dog Andes, he probably would have crushed the Sith Empire like a bug. The Sith Empire has never actually been that strong. Not really. Their big linchpin, you know, ace in the hole is Vishay himself, so...
Chawi mo jubu in Kosoracha. Loka kamaran endoso ran with no chabi. Tu rantamana sobu.
Fearsome? I am an Ithorian. Damn it. Fine, I'll go talk to the nameless Twi'lek. It doesn't matter. Let's not talk about Vishay anymore. I mean, really. He's just not worth talking about.
Kawanabotai. Takometa kablaya Justin. Dahupa kawanabot. Tonghite.
I love that dialogue option, by the way. In case you missed it, it was, look, look, look. You can tell me now, or I can hurt me, or I can hurt you, and then you can tell me later. I don't really have much thoughts on them, other than what I've already shared on my theory of the Force in general. Jundland. You know, the idea that the lights and the dark side are not the only dichotomies, that there's other ways of drawing from the Force, basically. And yes, we'll be playing... Actually, I don't know if we'll be playing male Sith Warrior or not. I actually played female Sith Warrior when I went through there.
Something I can help... What? The real Batu Rem? Oh, what is it? Docking Bay 3. More suspicious activity from Zerka's private dock. If only we had something more
Yeah, Turkey
concrete
boy.
that could launch a full-scale investigation. But Nar Shaddaa? Sounds like you've made some powerful enemies. Here's the reward for the information. And if you find out anything else about Batu, real or fake, let me know. What have you dis- Damn that woman. Do you have any proof? I wish that were enough. To finger Zerka, we need hard proof. As far as the killers go, we need them dead or alive. Our jurisdiction doesn't
can handle
stretch out
dead.
to the restoration zones. If you find anything else out, let me know.
Should I bother to point out that the TSF, the Telos Security Forces, jurisdiction does not extend to Telos. That's not a plot hole. That's just indicative of just how messed up the bureaucracy is in this whole situation. Is it me or am I just... I don't know, I'm having trouble negotiating this place. Maybe it's just I'm kind of out of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just stupid. Entirely possible that I am just stupid. Nope, not that one. Not that one. Who are you? Oh, right, I still need to free his one true love from a hut that he sold her to. Oh, there he is, there he is.
Donos Emaragith.
What? Yeah, I should save really quick. I don't know, Pandemonium. Other than simple pettiness, which would be ironic. I have no idea why they would go so far to the way to ignore KOTOR 2. Where the hell is this guy? Is it one of these people? No. Hello? Hello? So this is C1 right here. No, that's great. Where is the Zerka place? There it is. You know, I kind of am irritated, if I'm being honest. Now, this irritates me in everything they do it in. Oblivion, Skyrim, KOTOR 2. Where, you have all these options to get through locked doors. KOTOR 2 is a great example of this. We have explosives, we have hacking, we have the security spikes, and we have a lightsaber, and bashing. We have 5 ways to get through a door. But every now and again, there's a door that is just plain impossible to pick. They did this in Fallout 3 and in New Vegas as well. And they always do it for plot reasons, because they want you to follow the questions a certain way. And I get that. And I get that they don't want their scripts to fall apart any more than they already do. And I get that too. But it just has always been a pet peeve of mine that every now and again you'll just find a door that the GM says, no, you can't open that. You cannot get ye flask. That's always been something that's bugged me.
I do not have time for you. If there is nothing else. Batono, of course. He was one of our former employees. Let me tell you something. There are far too many like him. Do-gooders who believe that because of the things Zerka must do to remain successful and profitable, we must be evil. They do not see the impracticality of their beliefs. They do not understand the realities of the galaxy. If certain funds must be paid, then Zerka will gladly pay. If competitors removed, then Zerka will do its part to forward progress. Batono could not see this. Before leaving our employ, he stole many of our records, then began to stalk our movements on the station. Harassment, but conveniently overlooked, sanctioned perhaps, by the Telosian authorities.
Right. Very convincing. Did you practice that in front of the mirror this morning? I'm still looking forward to playing Wasteland 2. We're going to do an exploration of it at some point. Would I accept a KOTOR 3 which is as good as KOTOR 2 but had the bad ending? Absolutely. And I can tell you exactly why. Neverwinter Nights 2. I hate to keep going back to that, but Neverwinter Nights 2 for me was an amazing game that I loved every second of except for the last 2 minutes. Like, it was like, yes, yes, yes. Even the last dungeon was cool, and the last fight was cool, and then the ending hit, and it was just god-awful. Even without Mask of the Betrayer, I was still willing to accept that. Because it was still an awesome game. I just, on replays, I would just stop when I hit the last dungeon, right? So yes, I would accept a KOTOR 3 that was amazing, or KOTOR 3, excuse me, that was amazing, even if it had a god-awful ending.
I'm curious, though, as to why you are looking for him. I see. Well, I suspect he's putting his nose into something or another. People like him can't mind their own business, always needing to pry into matters that don't concern them. I do know he spent some time in the company of the Ithorians. I assumed that was the reason for his efforts, that he thought by inventing stories of Zerka's evil, he could put Chodo Habat and his incapable assistants in charge. But if you are searching for him, and find him, there would be a reward for any information of his whereabouts.
Right. Dios, as I've said before, there are no plans for any lore runs right now other than the ones that are planned, because I've already got several very large lore runs to get through this year. The entirety of Kingdom Hearts, the entirety of StarCraft, and the entirety of World of Warcraft. I got a lot of work to do, so no, I'm not planning any new lore runs until all of those are done. Sorry, guys.
I would be happy to have him out of Zerka's hair. He's been hard to track down, so yes, a reward would be offered. Silence his lies and fabricated untruths. His slanderous accusations are a needless trouble atop a great many troubles this planet faces. If credits are what he wants, then Zerka will pay him for an easy settlement of this situation. Otherwise, Zerka will be forced into a lengthy petition process with the Telosian Council. Excellent. Zerka will be glad to be free of his baseless accusations and rumor-mongering.
Doug Andes, because I've already done the other Warcraft games. The WoW one's going to be showing off all the little lore. Even though I've already talked about the lore of Warcraft as a whole during the Warcraft 3 run, I'll be discussing all of WoW's stuff in particular when I go through that. The Kingdom Hearts lore run will be happening next, aka I have no idea when. Probably in July sometime if I were to guess, but don't hold me down to that, especially with Gen Con happening at the end of July. I'm not really sure when that's going to happen. Whether I'd like to do Neverwinter Nights? You know what? I've replayed Neverwinter Nights and Neverwinter Nights 2 several times. But you know what I've never done? I've never cheated in those games. I wonder what it would be like to walk through and just meteor swarm everything to death constantly. Anyways, I would not be opposed to a Kingdom Hearts, or a Neverwinter Nights lore run. Okay, where's the frickin'... this way, this way. Oh.
Fidangelfa vapuilta. Fidangelfa vadinogan gelfa liian uhka. Fidan elfa vaan innovan elfa, liian uhka.
I have played System Shock, and of course System Shock 2, but I have played System Shock 1. My opinion on Malik's character is he's actually really well written if he is a complete idiot. But he's an idiot in character, not an idiot out of character, if you know what I mean. He is genuinely stupid, and it defines basically all of his character arc. I don't even say that to insult him. It's one of the things I like about Malik as a character, actually. I talked about it constantly as we're going through KOTOR 1. An Assassin's Creed lore run, I'm a lot more hesitant to do one of those. 3 big reasons. 1, those games are long. 2, much harder to stream. I've actually tried streaming them before. It involves some irritation. And 3, I know this sounds weird, but there's not a lot of lore to talk about in the Assassin's Creed series. There is some, but it's much more interspersed. That's one of the reasons I was willing to do the Ruminations of the AC series, but have never actually thought about doing a lore run. So, as of right now, Assassin's Creed is off the list for a lore run.
Tuli Truthblava, Vapoilta, Truthblava Nivotelva, Fidan elfa vaan innovan elfa, liian uhka. Tuli Truthblava, Vapoilta, Truthblava Nivotelva.
I'm most optimistic, Frozen. What'd you ask me?
Fidan elfa vaan innovan elfa, liian uhka. Renkundas, noi fidan elfa, vapoilta. Fidan elfa vaan innovan elfa, liian uhka.
I have played several of the Age of Wonders games, but not like the whole things or anything like that. So, yeah. How bad is Tor going to be to play? Honestly, I don't know. The last time I played it, it was, as I've said many times before, a net zero. In other words, the positives and the negatives hit each other and basically completely balanced out. There was some damned good story stuff, which I was really enjoying. The gameplay was a slog, and a lot of the features of how you leveled up and how you got new equipment and whatnot were irritating as hell. So, we'll see. Yeah. Oh, don't worry, Nerazaz. I don't get stuff in my keyboard or on my mouse. That's one of the reasons I do this one-handed thing. No Cheetos grease here.
You're not CSD. What are you doing here? Zerka Security Division. They've been known to break into apartments from time to time. Think they're above the law, you know how Zerka is. But I'm still curious why you're barging in here. Does a locked door mean nothing to you? Just looking around in another man's apartment? You're either very crazy or very dumb. Just get out of here. You again? What? No, you must be mistaken. You're probably looking for a previous tenant or a neighbor. Dole sent you. Can't say I'm surprised. He was the one who wanted me to come forward in the first place. Easier to say that, but you're not the one Zerka will send its assassins after. Sure, but everything takes time. Testifying before the council's deliberation, time that Zerka could use to rub me out. You might be right. I don't think Zerka has gone so far that it's willing to openly clash with the TSF. But Zerka has eyes everywhere. I'm not even sure I can leave this apartment safely.
After some thought, Arthas, I'd say I prefer KOTOR 2's combat system, followed by KOTOR's, followed by Tor's. Tor's actual combat system isn't really bad, per se. It's just kind of... dull. I don't have a good word for it.
You? Look, I'm sure you can handle yourself, but I think this might be a little out of your league. A Jedi. Jedi or no, Gren wouldn't have sent you if he didn't think you could get the job done. All right, fine, but we need to get moving. Lead the way, I'll watch your back.
What do we have here? Batono, if I'm not mistaken. You've been a hard man to track down.
Who are you?
It doesn't matter who I am. It's you we've all been looking for. Executive Lorso sent me to take care of some unfinished business. That's fine. We weren't planning on taking him anywhere anyways.
Where that came from. More where that came from. More where that came from.
That was a close one. We need to keep moving. Let's leave this mess for the TSF guards to sort out.
I have to hand it to you, I'm damned impressed. Not only did you find Batono, you convinced him to testify against Zerka to the council. And believe me, that's no small feat, considering I think Batono is as stubborn as ever.
You don't sound happy to see me, Gren.
Of course, I'm sure you have other things to be doing. The bounty is yours for finding Batono, and a bonus for bringing him back as well.
I don't have anything for you, but thanks for saving my life. I'll try and return the favor someday.
Nobody minds corpses on Citadel Station. Come on, guys. In no particular order. You're buying 5th edition. Awesome. Hope you enjoy it. 5th edition, I haven't played extensively, but from what I understand, the combat is really streamlined to go much faster, so that's nice. And I like some of the things it does. The Dark Forces and Jedi Knights games are okay. I don't think I'll ever do a rumination on them because I frankly don't think I have that much to talk about in both. If I was ever going to do a Jade Empire thing, it would be a rumination, not a lore run. And if a Star Wars game ever let me play a Hutt, would I play one? Absolutely. Without hesitation.
So, you're back. What's there to say? We're the only corporation. If this won't... Good. Gianna Lorson. She's... What? What do you mean? Wait, are you talking about accessing the mainframe? The Zerka mainframe? You're crazy! What are you, some kind of slicer? Well, I'm sure there are a dozen sorts of dirt on Lorso in there, but it's a closed system. This is a joke, right? You're CSD, aren't you? Loyalty test? You know, this is serious. I should help you out.
Wow, that was a lot easier than I thought it would be.
Alright, other than Jana Lorso, only B-44 has free access to the mainframe. He's a protocol droid, her administrative assistant. If you control B-44, you could walk right in.
That's a good question. Who would win, the XL or Revan? I'd probably give that to Revan, personally.
Right, whatever. You could use B-44 to get into the mainframe. Nearly all the Zerka technicians are planet-side these days, working the recovery zones we've taken from the Authorians. We've contracted out the maintenance for the office's protocol and utility droids. The guy Chano lives in the apartments in Residential 082, Unit 2B, I think. If you had his credentials, B-44 would leave with you willingly.
Gavadumba munsur kupla liyawa. Bo bagaragawanda yaitua ulwanji uma. Chone mulera. Tonkinge bano jansada ni karaska. Tanjani gnawimbo granda ni bilhan. Kawan Gavadumba Dahupa Rosa Urata Kawana Bot Kawana Gavadumba Dahupa Kawana Bot
Kawanabota yuta tangwa kidira. Mariko no sa tuto kronas lumsa. Hete dress hiso yunto mash tranza.
Well, I just bought a slave, guys.
Sirimento saraka mahban relike.
Oh, thank God it's over. Oh, it's over.
Ento mesh min paju. Watamincha yokolo undoado nukulabirawa. Tines un soto.
Okay, I'm going to answer some questions real quick because I'm getting overwhelmed with questions. Force Unleashed. Force Unleashed 1 was fun and silly, but I absolutely hate the story of the game. And Force Unleashed 2 isn't nearly as fun, and the story is actually worse somehow. Yes, I have Permeus, and it doesn't work very well for me. Oh, God, Frozen. You're incredibly evil. And I don't understand. I mean, I cheated in some lightsabers, yes, in order to look cooler. They're not even good. They're just cool looking, because I like looking cool on repeat playthroughs. It's what I like to call the New Game Plus feature. If the game just had New Game Plus in it, I wouldn't have to do this kind of thing, but whatever.
Tinor krelu. Und verento kring banokrok nixerento duncha morbansum.
Kavadumpe masuraku popayi botenya tache morota kamsa. Javaskobo subjo. Rijiso karvenokso. Mochitosa sagrindio. Kawanabota tagwa kankadira. Yutaka alonji umalipa. Yues mahawika si wawanta mo.
I don't know Pandemonium. Well, I do know, actually. What you have to understand was Tor was originally made with a large amount of writers from across BioWare. People from the Dragon Age team, people from the Mass Effect team, people who worked on the original KOTOR. It was about 14 writers, and they all come together and they wrote the original story of Tor, which is basically 1 to 50. All the planets, all the class stuff. And then a lot of those people left BioWare, and then they kept making Tor. So that's one of the reasons why the more recent stuff in Tor is it has a completely different feel to it with regards to how it's presented, the story arcs, that kind of a thing, because all the original writers don't work there anymore. I shouldn't say all of them, but most of them don't. So that's the main reason why the more recent Tor stuff feels a little bit different. You can do whatever you want, because I don't believe in slavery. Hang on. One more command before you go. Put on some clothes. Okay, we're done. Whoa, God, he turned on a cloaking device, guys. Okay, that's done. Let's go hack us some Zerka. Yes, I am playing with the restored content mod 1.8.3b or whatever it is. Wait, that's the exchange. I would make this Zerka. Dude, I'm just telling her, you know, get some clothing going on. So there's lots of ways in here. Oh, I think there's actually only 2 ways in here.
Good day.
But my favorite.
I am sorry, but I cannot accompany you. I may only leave the Zerka offices for maintenance by an authorized Zerka or Zerka contracted droid technician.
Is to hack this guy.
I am sorry, but I do not handle the maintenance contracts. However, this branch currently retains the technical services of Ovo Chano, a resident of the station. Perhaps he could help you.
Thank you so much for your assistance. I'll be back. I feel so bad for so many droids. Even though that one's probably mind-wiped recently, which I've already given my thoughts and opinions on the whole mind-wiping thing. Hey, look, there's some dead guys there. Hey, Fitzcott. Also, as an aside, really quick, for those of you who play Tor or also play Tor, you guys are welcome to join me when I'm going through that on my 8-character run. But You don't have to, of course. I'm not even sure what server we're going to be on. I'm going to show off a couple things when we start off with my existing characters, which are still there, interestingly enough. But anyways, moving along. I'm just trying to picture how possibly to explain how horrifying it's got to be to literally be a sentient, or at least semi-sentient being that knows that at any given point in your life and history, you may just plain be mind-wiped, reprogrammed at will, told to do something that you don't actually want to do. I mean, I'm reminded of HK-47's story when he was reprogrammed by the Mandalorian to go after the gentleman who found him, the other Mandalorian. And he was so distressed that he constantly had to beat his former owner to death, as he was quite surprised, you know. It's just, oh my god, you know. That was pretty horrifying, but also speaks to the horror of the droid scenario. As I'm saying about it, it wouldn't actually surprise me if some of my inspiration for how the lycanthropes work on Primus came from the droid dilemma, for lack of a better term. A lycanthrope may like you, may even care about you extensively, but if they are told to kill you by slowly peeling your skin off, they will do it and apologize constantly. Because, like, I'm so sorry, look, I really, really don't want to peel the skin off of your leg. I'm sorry, please stop screaming, please! Yeah. I like how I'm just being honest. I need your credentials. Why? Because I need to hack into a droid. Why? Because I need to get some files from Zerka's mainframe. I can't? Why not? I think there's a couple other Silver Black, but yes, HK-47, R2-D2, and T3 are all droids that were never mind-wiped, that pertain to their personality throughout. Why do you need credits? A loan from whom? It is my concern, because I kind of want those credentials, so you better tell me. IG-88 is debatable. C-3PO has been mind-wiped so hard, I'm not going to complete that joke. There's a joke about that. Gotu was never mind-wiped either. You know what, just because you guys are asking, give me a moment here. Let's move this over here. I know. Vishay just killed T3, and God, that pissed me off. Anyways, there was another droid. Oh yeah, C-3PO has been mind-wiped a lot, but IG-88 is debatable, because IG-88 wasn't actually around for that long. Most droids take a decent period of time to really develop a personality, you know, years, basically. And IG-88 was only active for, what is it, like 3 years, I want to say? So a fairly short period of time. So while he counts, he's something of a technically, because then his other forms were destroyed, and then his Death Star form was destroyed. Okay, where I am on the Shadowlands, I think. Am I looking at this right? I think. Hang on, where's the server thing? There we go, server selection. Yeah, all my characters are on the Shadowlands. Not that it matters, because I'll be making 8 new characters, so I'll be on whatever. But can I move this up here? No. My server choices, for whenever we get there, are Shadowlands, Harbinger, Ebonhawk, Bergeron, Colony. I'm not doing it on a PvP server, by the way, so Shadowlands, Harbinger, Ebonhawk, Bergeron, Colony, Jedi Covenant, and that's it. Those are my options. Because I absolutely, adamantly refuse to play on a PvP server, for reasons I've talked about many times in the past. And it looks like I can play on European servers, so I guess I lied, because it looks like I can just select European servers. So that's kind of cool. Actually, one thing I want to show off really quick, just while we're here. Let's get rid of this really quick. Because I just want to show something off super quick. There we go. Okay. One of the things that I do like that Tor did, and I like it a lot, this is the character I was leveling with Charlie before we both put the game down and never actually came back. There's my so-called main, and there's my other so-called main, and the rest have been since deleted. But anyways, I just wanted to show this off really quick. Come on. That's an odd situation. Why won't it let me hit play? What the hell? It literally won't let me in. It literally won't let me in. That's hilarious. It won't let me log in. I was just gonna show something off like really fast, and it won't let me log in. That's really funny. Because see, I only have one active character right now. It's this one, but that's okay because that's the one I wanted to show off. And yet, as you can see, it's literally not letting me in. No, it's already active. See, this is the activate button. You see that? Activate, activate. It's right there. This character is active. I just logged on her today. I literally logged in her today, this morning, to show something off to a friend of mine. Hey. What the hell ever. I was just going to show something off really quick anyways. It's not that big of a deal. I was just going to show off, I have a black and white lightsaber on my level 18. Because they did this thing in Tor where they let you have really a couple, it's like 10 or so, really cool looking lightsaber colors, and they're really low level requirement. So you can get them, they're kind of expensive, and you can send them to your alt, and that way you can look cool in all the cutscenes leading up throughout the game, which is really nice. And that's all I was going to show off. It's like, here, look, one thing I like about Tor is you get these cool lightsaber colors, and I can't even show you off because it wouldn't let me log in. Anyways, You've never lied? I do not have any droid technician credentials to give you. That was an excellent lie. By the way, just as an aside, I hate Tor's installer. It's not as bad as it used to be. When Tor first came out, it had the worst installer in the known history of reality. Oh, right, sorry guys. And I mean that sincerely. It like would crash. It was poorly coded garbage and would crash the hell out of really nice computers because it would use up like 100% of your CPU to really, really poorly install and download. And it did it like it would download a single chunk of data and then install it and then download and then install and then down. And it was terrible. It would literally take days to install the damn game. That's not an exaggeration. And that's on a top-of-the-line machine sitting on an OC12, for God's sakes. But, That's a lot better now. It only took me 2 days to download and install Tor. So that's nice. I'd still go with the Tor installer in that one, Lurker. I can kill you horribly, you know.
Wanarakora chidrunka sa inchobin sasha. Dosimana rachata. Loka kamaran endoso ranwi no chabi. Du rantamana sobu. Tonoranga manakaran. Ipo inshawa.
Good day. I am B4D4, Administrative Assistant for Zerka Corporation's Citadel Station branch. How may I help you? I am sorry. Those are legitimate credentials. I will accompany you.
Preguntas. Orizidan gelfa. Vapuilta. Sidan gelfa valinuga gelfa. Linda krufta. Sidan gelfa valinuga gelfa. Linda krufta. Linda kruf. Krufta gelkif. Den fusi boravan.
First of all, Tor ran so poorly at the launch because they'd never made an MMO before. And most people don't understand an MMO is a completely different animal when it comes to design and when it comes to programming and marketing and the reaction with your players and in literally every way whatsoever. Speaking as someone who's worked on an MMO in my life. So, yeah, the idea that it's very, very clear that when BioWare went into Tor, they just had no idea what they were doing. And it showed in literally every single way. The response to the question about the response delay, that made it almost unplayable for me when the game was at launch. I'm used to WoW, which actually does some unique coding stuff to make it so there's basically no response delay at all. And in fact, you can interrupt your own animations and moves with other moves, which you can't do in every MMO. At least you couldn't for a while. That's a little bit more the norm nowadays. But when you started Tor, God, it was terrible. It'd be like, and then you'd hit, and it was god awful. It was only, I'm exaggerating a little. It was about half a second delay, but it just drove me batty. Finally, what do you mean, John Lind, about the subtractive thing? I'm not getting you immediately. I'm sure there are people who still play Tor. I know the guild I was in is still going, which is funny. Everyone's still just playing Hutball. I like that idea. Hey, Atten.
Yeah? Yeah?
Hutball was actually a lot of fun. It's the only PvP I actually enjoyed in Tor.
The war has really inflated prices here in the Outer Rim. Medical
Why are you telling me this?
short supply and high demand.
Hello there, and greetings from Isis and Onderon. I'm a diplomat from Queen Talia on Onderon. My stay was supposed to have been shorter, but the contract disputes over the restoration project had prolonged it.
I get you, Jundland, and I feel like that's one of the reasons that's being done is because people just like to do things that are different, because we've seen the three primaries so often in the movies and whatnot. In fact, it's extremely rare to not see anything other than the three primaries in the movies. In fact, off the top of my head, I can only think of one exception in all 6 movies where someone used a lightsaber color that wasn't red, blue, or green, and that was Mace Windu. Feel free to correct me on that, but I believe that's true.
The Ithorians negotiated the export of flora and fauna from Onderon, but with their disagreements with Zerka, the status of our arrangement is in the air.
The war has really inflated prices here. It's good that Zerka's arrival has created new jobs on the station.
People hate Mace Windu, Sterlings? Seriously?
The war has really inflated prices here.
Hey guys, the war has really inflated prices. I've always been a white or black kind of a guy. And yes, there are black lightsabers in Tor. There's basically every lightsaber color in Tor. It's probably the only game that really lets you do basically anything. And it also is the first thing that I'm aware of that allows you to do multicolored lightsabers. 2, specifically, an outline and an inner part. And there's some really cool ones there.
The war has really inflated.
Hey guys, the war has really inflated the prices. Take a drink, the war has really inflated prices. No, not rainbow. It's only 2 colors. Like I said, the color I was going to show off, if Tor was actually working, was white and gray, and it looked really cool. Glenn, Race Dude, Dober Brothers, Doc People. Okay, sure. Is this... Yes. By the way, Tor has a lot of problems, and I mean a lot of problems, but it is still a game that had some really good story stuff, and I still played through it 8 times. I have seen all 8 storylines. That really should tell you something about my opinion on it. I'm amazed they let us do this much roaming as the droid. Really, I am. I like to race. No! Droidism!
No way. I learned my lesson. Never play Pazak with droids.
Droidism! Again! And now, everyone's favorite music!
Leave me alone, B-44.
Welcome to the entertainment. We feature Citadel Station's most talented all-myth band around the clock, as well as live Twi'lek dancers. You won't find any holograms here. Casual Pazak players should be able to find a friendly match in the game room. Or, if you're a bit more seasoned, we have daily tournaments with some of the best players in the Outer Rim. Cards too slow for you? Try your hand at Citadel Station's swoop track and see if you can challenge the all-time records. Last but not least, we feature only the finest cuisine and beverages from Ryloth to Coruscant.
By the way, I just imagine John Williams listening to this and weeping quietly. Possibly.
I have to wake Jane up. She's not up yet. And get her dressed. Can you put the car seat in my car?
Sure. Can you give me a minute?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a lot of a minute, but I can give you a minute.
Any administrative questions can be handled by our protocol droid.
B4D4. So Zerka's onto me. Look, I want you to forget you ever saw me.
Hello, B4D4. What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be at the Zerka offices?
Possibly Junland, but I think this is just A, Obsidian's style of writing in general, you know, giving you options and to do this as extensive as we are. And B, another commentary on the fact that droids, the way droids are perceived in Star Wars. Because there's a lot of take on that in this game. It's also probably one of the more subtle things they do. Because they hit the dark side, light side thing pretty hard. It's been commented that Kreia is basically a mouthpiece for Chris Avalon. But the stuff they do with the droids throughout this entire game is a lot more subtle, and I know a lot more people have actually missed out on it. Now, I gotta be right back. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta help load something, but I will be right back. And if you want, I could go back to the cantina and just park there with the music. Does that sound good?